If it was for you, understand that anything that God has for you is going to come to you. And you really have to know that. So when something doesn't come to you, that's literally my attitude. When something don't come to me, I'm like, oh, that ain't it. Because it ain't coming to me. So if it was for me, then it was for me, we was going to ride it out with it. But if it ain't for me, and if I ain't a part of it, I'm moving on. And that's really the attitude you got to have, and not feel like, oh, I'm missing something, or no, it's missing me. You know what I mean?
Hi lovely people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the self-proclaimed millennial diva, KeKe Palmer. As a fan who has watched her career from the very beginning, she has been able to successfully reinvent herself while staying authentic to who she is, and I believe that authenticity is the main aspect of why she has seen longevity in the industry. By looking at some of KeKe's most iconic roles and projects throughout her career, I'm going to highlight how KeKe has become a voice of a generation and how she has cemented her legacy all before the age of 30. Born in Harvey, Illinois, her parents, Sharon and Larry Palmer, knew early on that KeKe was destined for stardom when she performed Jesus Loves Me in her church choir at the young age of 5, and when she was casted in her kindergarten play. Eventually, her family made the move to LA, where KeKe was able to gain more exposure. She landed her first major role in the 2004 movie Barbershop 2, Back in the Business, starring Ice Cube, Queen Latifah, and Cedric the Entertainer. A year later, in 2005, KeKe signed her first recording contract with Atlantic Records. That same year, KeKe was approached by television producer Ralph Farquhar, who co-created the hit shows Moesha and the Parkers, to cast her in the Disney Channel sitcom named KeKe and Jamal. KeKe revealed in August 2020 that the show was loosely based off her real life and how her character had aspirations of becoming an entertainer. Though the show never got picked up, it helped launch the careers of her co-stars Andre Jamal Kinney and Vanessa Hudgens, who later reached stardom with the High School Musical movies. Arguably one of KeKe's most known and iconic roles would be Akeelah in The Beat in 2006. KeKe portrayed an 11-year-old spelling whiz from LA who has dreams of taking her talent all the way to the National Spelling Bee competition. With the guidance of Lawrence Fishburne's character, Dr. Larrabee, her mother, played by Angela Bassett, and the support of her community, she was able to reach her goals. Personally, this was the first project I ever saw KeKe in, and I literally remember going to the movie theater to watch this as a child and feeling optimistic and motivated to achieve anything I put my mind to. For this role, KeKe earned a Young Artist Award and an NAACP Image Award. More recently, KeKe and her on-screen mother, Angela Bassett, reunited to reminisce their 2006 coming-of-age film. Following the success of Akeelah and the Bee, she went on to star in the Disney Channel original movie Jump In 2007. A fun fact about this movie is that the Disney Queen, Raven-Symoné, was originally set to star in the project, which was originally titled Double Dutch. But due to scheduling conflicts, presumably because she was coming off production for the Cheetah Girls 2 around the summer of 2006, the movie was reconstructed around Corbin Blue's character, Izzy Daniels. Izzy is a boxer who gains an interest in Double Dutch through his friend and love interest, Mary, played by KeKe Palmer. At the time of its release, it became the highest-rated Disney Channel original movie with 8.2 million viewers. I thought this movie was really impactful to me as a child because it featured a predominantly black cast, and the overall message was to get outside of your comfort zone and to do what makes you happy, regardless if people accept it or not. Following the release of Jump In was when KeKe released her debut album, So Uncool, in September 2007. The 12-track album charted at number 86 on the U.S. Billboard Top R&B and Hip Hop Albums, led by her lead single, Footworkin'. KeKe later spoke openly regarding her experience being on a major record label by saying, quote, "A lot of times, record labels will sign artists just to sign them. They don't even believe in them. They just sign them to say, I can create this person, or this person has a great fan base, so I'm going to exploit their audience. It doesn't work. Or the worst part is, sometimes it does work, and you have artists who are hating themselves afterward," unquote. KeKe went on to say, quote, "On my first album, I made sure to have so much creative control. But because of that, the album wasn't very promoted. It's kind of a double-edged sword. If you don't listen to the label and you do your own thing and protect your art, a lot of times you won't get promoted. And if you do what they want, you will get promoted, but in a version of yourself that isn't true to who you are," unquote. In 2008, KeKe starred in the hit Nickelodeon sitcom True Jackson VP as the titular character True Jackson, a 15-year-old fashionista who gets recruited to be the vice president of Mad Style's youth apparel division. For the 3 seasons of the show from 2008 to 2011, it depicts True balancing her daily life as an executive and a regular teenager. KeKe also sang the theme song to the show, which she later remade for her 2020 VMA hosting promo commercial. Throughout this time, KeKe earned $20,000 per episode, which made her one of the most highest paid child actors on television. While Nick had a roster of hit teen programming shows such as Drake and Josh, Zoe 101, Ned's Declassified, and Unfabulous, True Jackson VP was one of the very few shows that allowed younger people, specifically young black girls, to have that affirmation that there is no limit to what we can become. To this day, True Jackson VP is one of the very few shows that I felt truly represented me. Even though True was a fictional character, it proved that positive imagery and representation matters for young girls. True Jackson helped empower and inspire a generation of young kids of what they could strive to be. After True Jackson VP ended, KeKe voiced the character Aisha in the animated series Winx Club from 2011 to 2015, and she also starred in the 2012 Lifetime movie Abducted, the Carolina White story, along with Ingenue Ellis and Sherry Shepherd, in which KeKe played the real-life woman Carolina White, who was abducted from a hospital as an infant back in 1987. Following the release of Joyful Noise in 2012, which starred Queen Latifah and Dolly Parton, KeKe continued her partnership with Nickelodeon that same year by starring in the TV movie Rags. Directed by Billy Woodruff, who has directed movies such as Honey and Beauty Shop, Rags was essentially a modern-day reverse-gender Cinderella. KeKe played Katie Worth, an international pop star and the daughter of a music mogul who's frustrated by the way her career is going. When her character later meets an aspiring singer, things began to change for the better for the both of them. The soundtrack for the movie, which was produced by legendary producers Darkchild and Andre Lindell, included one of my favorite tracks off of the project, Love You, Hate You. In February 2013, KeKe landed the part of Rosanda Chili Thomas in the VH1 TLC biographical film, in which the movie chronicled the career evolution of one of the best-selling girl groups of all time. Upon the public learning about KeKe landing the role, there was criticism online about how she did not look like Chili, in which KeKe responded on Twitter by saying, quote, "People kill me. I don't remember Angela Bassett looking anything like Tina Turner, and she ripped that role. People need to realize that movies aren't casted by people looking like who they're playing. They're casted by who can do the role. I don't know about you, but I would much rather see a movie that is well acted than a movie with a bunch of lookalikes. Because Ben Affleck isn't even Hispanic, but the man he played in Argo is. I shouldn't play the part because my baby hair isn't the perfect texture. Good night, Twitter. Good night." Unquote.
Finding out about her story after reading the script was just a plus. So I said, okay, not only do I love her as a fan, but also her story is one I would love to tell. When I met Chili, I was so freaking excited and very much, starstruck. So I was really excited, and I wanted to just talk to her and get to know her, and she was very open. We actually even had a sleepover, and we spent the whole night just talking about everything that's in the script and then other things that aren't in the script that would help me understand some of the things that happened. And it was really cool how open she was and how she was able to trust me with her life.
Despite the initial controversy, KeKe received rave reviews for her performance, and personally, I felt she did an amazing job at portraying Chili. Chili did not seem to have a problem with KeKe playing her, so I felt all the criticism was unwarranted, especially before people even saw the movie. Nonetheless, KeKe went on to do other projects. In the summer of 2014, at age 20, KeKe made history by becoming the youngest talk show host in TV history, with the premiere of her daily talk show, Just KeKe, on BET. Airing on weekdays at 5 p.m., right before 106 & Park, the show touched on topics about dating, pop culture, fashion, and social issues. Judge Greg Mathis served as a liaison between KeKe and the company Telepictures by serving as an executive producer on Just KeKe through his own production company. KeKe has regarded him as an important mentor for helping her make her vision for the talk show a reality. KeKe once mentioned how she was motivated to do the show by saying, quote, "I was inspired to do this show based on my life situations and what I was going through. Growing up, I never really got a chance to socialize or talk to people my age because I was homeschooled since the 5th grade. I just feel like young people aren't really talking about anything. Everything is about living the ratchet lifestyle. There is nothing out there right now that is feeding the intellectual side of my generation. This show isn't about me. It's about my generation. Young people don't realize all the possibilities in life. I truly believe that we could do anything. We don't need adults to talk to us. We should be talking to each other and figuring out our problems ourselves," unquote. Though the show only went on for a test run and ran for only 20 episodes, the show was something I look forward to watching coming home from school. Although it was short-lived, it was a great opening act to the main event, which was 106 & Park. The idea was creative, innovative, fun, and lighthearted. And fortunately for KeKe, it was the first of several hosting opportunities that she had on the horizon.
I was learning how to process in a very healthy way. And I was thinking to myself, how many young people are going through what I'm going through and they don't have the resources and they don't have the outlet and they don't have any of these things that I have to help me really know that I'm normal and it's okay that I have these feelings as a young human growing. And this is over the span of me being, from 17 is when I first really was thinking about my connection to my peers and how, I could use what I've been able to receive to also let them know, we're the same.
Later that year in 2014, KeKe continued her history-making trajectory by making her Broadway debut as the first African-American Cinderella on Broadway. Inspired by Brandy's version of Cinderella in the 1997 TV movie, KeKe continued to cement her legacy by being that representation for little girls and changing the image of what is historically seen as beauty. When asked about how being the first African-American Cinderella helps change the face of beauty, KeKe said, quote, "Often, as an African-American, you don't see a lot of people who are being glorified that look like you. I don't even want to say glorified, but rather people who are being appreciated, like princesses. A lot of times, they're not African-American, and sometimes they could put in your mind that you're not beautiful or worthy because of the way you look. When you see African-Americans play a role like Cinderella or any other character that has some type of special thing to them, it makes you know that it's possible, and just because you haven't seen it, it doesn't mean you can't be it," unquote. Between 2014 and 2019, she starred and guest starred in shows such as Scream Queens as Zayday Williams and Star, and also the movies Ice Age, Brotherly Love, Pimp, and the television special Grease Live. In September 2019, she co-starred Jennifer Lopez in the film Hustlers as Mercedes. In the summer of 2019, KeKe served as a fill-in host before becoming a permanent host on Strahan, Sara, and Keke on ABC in August 2019. For the next couple of months, ratings for the show increased, and the show was earning Daytime Emmy nominations. But unfortunately, the arrival of the COVID pandemic in early 2020 led to the daytime show, Pandemic: What You Need to Know, during Strahan, Sara, and Keke's time slot. As the pandemic continued, What You Need to Know became permanent and was renamed to GMA3, What You Need to Know, thus leading to the cancellation of Strahan, Sara, and KeKe. KeKe continued her hosting duties by hosting the 2020 VMAs. KeKe capped off 2020 by releasing 2 EPs, Virgo Tendencies Part 1 in August and Virgo Tendencies Part 2 in December of 2020. In early 2021, KeKe won a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Actress in a short-form comedy or drama series in the Facebook Watch series Turns Up with the Taylors. In the series, KeKe is a one-woman show by playing different members of a successful family who has their own reality show called Taylor Time. 2022 was a huge year for KeKe. She voiced the characters in the animations The Proud Family reboot, Louder and Prouder as Maya, and Big Mouth and Human Resources as Rochelle. In June, she voiced the character Izzy Hawthorne in the movie Lightyear, and a month later, she was back on the big screen by playing Emerald Haywood in Jordan Peele's Nope, in which she received widespread praise for her performance. In October 2022, she announced she is launching her own digital network, KeTV, which aims to spotlight creators on and off the camera and empower them with the tools and resources she has learned along the way. KeKe was also announced as the new host of the reboot NBC game show Password, featuring Jimmy Fallon. In November 2022, she launched her very own podcast called Baby, This is KeKe Palmer, which is available on Amazon Music. In her podcast, she talks with various experts and celebrities about topics such as being a child actor, social media, and relationships. But one of the biggest stories that come out of 2022 was when KeKe announced she is having her very first child while she was hosting SNL, which automatically became one of my favorite SNL monologues. After seeing a tweet circulating in 2022 of a Twitter user who inquired about the comparisons between KeKe Palmer's and Zendaya's career and attributing colorism as the reason why KeKe does not have as much mainstream popularity as Zendaya, it made me wonder why people felt that way. Specifically about KeKe. Colorism definitely exists in the industry, but I felt that tweet overlooked and underestimated the impact and influence that KeKe has had over a generation. KeKe responded to the tweet by saying, quote, "A great example of colorism is to believe I could be compared to anyone. I'm the youngest talk show host ever, the first black woman to star in her own show on Nickelodeon, and the youngest and first black Cinderella on Broadway. I'm an incomparable talent. Baby, this is KeKe Palmer," unquote. She went on to say, quote, "I've been a leading lady since I was 11 years old. I have over 100 plus credits and currently starring in an original screenplay that's the #1 film at the box office. #Nope. I've had a blessed career thus far. I couldn't ask for more, but God continues to surprise me," unquote. I appreciate KeKe's response because she only affirmed what I already knew. She is incomparable, and she has cemented her legacy with the several impactful projects and milestones she has achieved thus far in her career. All in all, it is clear that representation is something that KeKe has embraced throughout her 20-plus year career. She has been very intentional with the roles and projects she has taken on that highlight her range, but most importantly convey that black women are layered and not monolithic people. Her authenticity, candor, talent, and humor has helped her become one of the most marketable entertainers in the business and solidify her status as a legend in this industry. I know the word legend is grossly overused nowadays, but I strongly believe KeKe has earned the right to be classified as one. It is not often we see child stars continue their careers into adulthood with even a heightened level of success, but KeKe Palmer has done a great job at reinventing her career, and she continues to make history along the way. Let me know in the comments what your favorite role or project by KeKe Palmer is. Would you consider KeKe Palmer a legend? Let me know what other young legends in the making would you like me to talk about next. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.